Oh my god, my body. My body. My body. I'm like, should I get naked? But how did I look? Did I look like I was miles away from you before?
No.
Like I want to get closer?
All right. Hey guys, this is Laurie.
And this is Bryony.
And today we're going to get back to one of your questions, which was...
Why am I not losing body fat when I'm in a calorie deficit?
The answer is very easy on that one. You're probably not in a calorie deficit.
Oops.
And how comes, Bean?
Well, first of all, you may have actually incorrectly worked out your maintenance calories. And we know maintenance calories is pretty much your point in which we can dictate whether you build or lose body fat, build muscle, from that point. So without having that number, we aren't really going to gauge whether or not we can gain or lose body fat.
So starting point is, what is your baseline? What's your maintenance calories? And in order to find what's your maintenance, well, there is actually a lot of websites that you can use. It's going to ask you a bunch of questions such as your level of activity, your height, your weight, things like that. And often we might be thinking that our energy expenditure is this high, so I'm quite an active person, but actually you train once a day, but the rest of the day you just sit down. So the energy expenditure is actually not that high. So as Bryony said, that's the very, very first common issue, to get your maintenance wrong and think that you are in a deficit, but you're actually just around your maintenance.
Yeah. And if you're someone who isn't aware of what their maintenance calories are, then yes, you can go onto the website and have a little look, but just use that number as a guide. And what you would then do is eat to that amount, and then you would take your daily weight over the week and find the averages. And you could do that over 1 week, but me personally, I would do that over a longer period, so you can collect more data over 2 weeks, 3, even 4 weeks, so you can start to see, especially if you're female as well, you have your cycle to factor into that, that you can start to see the trends and where are you averaging out. If you're obviously losing, we know that's not quite your maintenance. If you're gaining, we also know it's not your maintenance. If you're pretty much level, yes, it goes up and down, it fluctuates, but if it's leveling out, then you've got it right.
100%. That's why when you start working with a coach, the first week is what we call the buffer week, because we try to estimate your baseline based on all the information that we've collected during the consultation. But there's other things. We don't know your metabolism rate. We don't know if you have thyroid issues. Have you been dieting before? Because if you keep dieting again and again and again, then your metabolism is not as quick. So there's so many things to factor in, and that first week is actually very important. So don't get frustrated if the week 1 doesn't work, because the week 1 is the most important for us to get to know you and be like, okay, that's the baseline. Now we know where we're going. But the first week is more of a guess.
See, I don't actually give my calories straight away.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, you track first?
I actually get them to track for 2 weeks at least, and then give me what they currently have, and then we kind of work with where they're at.
Okay, good. Well, there you have 2 different ways.
There you go, 2 different ways. Yeah. The other point might be is that you actually do have the right calories and that you are working towards the right targets, but the tracking that you are using, whether that's through MyFitnessPal or the way in which you are tracking, is just inaccurate. So that's something to assess and look into. Yeah. Are you guesstimating a lot of your foods? Are you actually home cooking a lot of your foods? Are you weighing your foods? They're the questions I would be asking. And if you're eating out more times than you're actually home cooking, that could be just inaccurate kind of guesstimations of what you think you're having as well.
And are you actually tracking 7 days a week?
Oh, or are you actually tracking?
Weekend calories count as well. This is a thing.
Do they?
Yeah.
I didn't
know.
If
if you're on track Monday to Friday, let's say you bang on with calories, and then on the weekend you're like, oh, I went out, I didn't really track, but I think I'm okay calorie-wise. And literally what's happening on the weekend can remove the deficit that you've created over the week. So let's say you're there on Friday, on the weekend, that's your baseline, you're there. By the end of the week, you're there. So it's as if literally nothing happens. And if you're unsure about how to track your food, you can just watch the Q&A from the previous week, where we're giving you the top tips to track your food accurately.
Done. And the last point being?
You're probably metabolically adapted to these low calories. So we know that when we are trying to lose body fat, you're going to lose fat, and then it's going to slow down because your body is actually going to adapt to these calories. Meaning that in order to keep losing fat, you will have to drop your calories again. And it's a very, very important point, because the bigger you are, basically, the more you can eat. If you become a smaller human, it means that your maintenance is going to be lower. So as you diet down, you're losing weight, which means that your maintenance is actually doing this as well.
You just don't have the need to have as much energy and consumption.
100%. And if you get very, very lean, your body by the end actually fights because it doesn't really want to get super, super lean. It's not a good stage to be in for your body. So by the end, your body is slowing down and switches off some of the functions, such as if you're female, it might lose your cycle.
Losing your cycle is a big thing. So that's
100%.
like a big indication of perhaps looking into a little bit more.
Yeah. To summarize that point, if you start dieting and your calorie deficit works, that's great. If it stops working, it doesn't mean that the calorie deficit doesn't work anymore. It means that you're not in a calorie deficit anymore. So based on that point, you drop again. And that's actually how you break down a plateau as well.
Same as like your maintenance calories doesn't stay the same, it can change.
Exactly.
Things need to change, but you kind of want to make the most of what you currently have, because we all want more food to diet on. More food for the win. You only want to
100%.
change things when you have to change things. So make the most of your macros and your calories.
It's also important to keep some cards in your pocket, because if you start dieting and you just create a huge calorie deficit, your energy expenditure is super high. You do a bunch of cardio and then you plateau. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
That's why it's quite common at the beginning of a fat loss to have no cardio. Calories are, it's a deficit, but it's not crazy hard for now. And your steps are probably around 10K. And then by the end, a shit ton of cardio. Calories are low. Steps like 20K plus. So yeah, by the end, you struggle to get that last bit of fat off your body.
So make the most of doing your bare minimum, doing the bare minimum and having higher calories.
Yeah, exactly.
And just track accurately and you're onto a winner.
That's it.
Yep.
I've got ants in my legs.
What?
Ants in my legs.
What do you mean ants in your legs?
I don't know how to say it. In French, we say fourmis dans les jambes. It's like when
Pins
your
and
legs
needles.
Yes.
Ants in your legs?
In French, we say I've got
never
ants in my legs.
I've never heard that.
Fourmis dans les jambes.
Oh my god, I got ants in my legs. Pins and needles.